Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
I'm Antony.
Took a while, but we got there. Yes, I hope you enjoy this program and, of course, learn from it, too. But the best way to learn anything is to have a good time while doing it. Now, today, our title, this is a Cloze article, meaning there are blanks, as you can see here. If you look through the material, you see blanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We always have 5 of them, and we always have 4 choices, only one of which is proper to use. So let's look at first the title, The Never-Ending Lightning Storm.
没错，在中文的话 title 上面写到说永不停歇的雷暴，哇，听起来很酷，对不对？ Never ending 这个字的话中间有一个 hyphen 把它连起来，就是不会停下来的。好，所以在这里的话，那个 lightning storm 指的就是指这个那种闪电，有没有？突然这种闪电风暴的感觉。这 lightning 要特别小心的是 light 加上 ning。好，在这里的话它没有任何其他的那个 e在这个 T 跟 N 之间，然后小心。以前的话，很多时候我看到很多学生会拼错 ，lightning 就是这样子拼的哈，很特别。我们赶快来看看今天内容吧。
Okay, let's take a look. Of course, first sentence of the first paragraph. Thunder and lightning usually means it's time to go inside and wait for the storm to pass. Now, you may have noticed, they made a mistake. Look, thunder and lightning means...Shouldn't it be mean because it's two different things? No, because we're talking about what we call a thunderstorm. That's thunder and storm as one word. And if you cannot have thunder without lightning. So we consider it just one thing or one kind of storm. And that's why we have the 第三人单数。
哇哦，所以这边的话，第一句话这边就很重要的哦。多人看到 A and B 的时候，你想说哇，主词是复数，对不对 ？Usually means 就整个傻眼了。为什么地方后面会用这个 means 呢？原来啊 ，thunder and lightning 它会是当作是一个整体的，好，就是那种闪电风暴，它不是两样东西，而是一样 thunder and lightning， 不妨可以把它框在一起，把它当成一个东西。好，所以在这边的话，它就变成 usually means。好，那在这边的话，我觉得最重要的地方是它很好玩哦，就是如果说今天你要开场去介绍闪电这个东西的话，它是用一个情境，它就提到说打雷啊，闪电通常是怎样？你要表示要出去看吗？当然不是嘛。It's time to go inside and wait for the storm to pass。往往是赶快到了屋子里头去，等待风暴过去了之后再出来，对不对？好，这个地方它就慢慢用一个场景拉近我们现在要讲的这个主题。什么时候闪电居然变成了景点了？还有它后面会提到很多相关的数据哦。
Our next sentence has our first blank, but blank, it never stops.Let's see what would fit here. A, what for? B, what if? C, how come? Or D, how about? Well, the answer, of course, is going to be B, what if? Waiting for a storm to pass is the main idea here. That's going to take a little bit of time, maybe an hour. But...What if the storm, the thunderstorm never stops? What if it keeps on going? What do you do?
呀，没错，在这里的话，你从上下文可以看出来说，我们只要等待风暴过去就好了。啊，要是它不停呢，你就出不去了，不是吗？所以这边的话，要去衔接出后面要讲的概念的时候，我们就用 B 这个选项。What if 要是怎么样的情况最好了？好，在这里的话，我们答案选 B。What if?Welcome
to Maracaibo, Venezuela, where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo. Here's a geography lesson in Spanish for you. The northern South American country of Venezuela has a very large lake, and there you see it, Maracaibo. And, of course, most lakes, not all, most lakes are formed by rivers, and the river that forms this lake is Catatumbo River.
OK， 所以在这里的话有一个小小的地理课哦。我们今天要带大家去哪里呢？去委内瑞拉，好，是在这个南美洲北边的一个这个国家，对不对？好，它这边的话 ，Welcome to Maracaibo， 它这是一个委内瑞拉里面的一个城市，叫马拉卡波或者马拉开波。好 ，Where the Catatumbo River， 这是一个河的名字 ，meets Lake Maracaibo， 就是一条河跟另外一个这个马拉开波湖好交界的地方。你在这里的话，就是我们这边今天所讲的这个景点。
In the skies over the lake, a lightning storm appears around 150 nights per year, sometimes for 10 hours per day, with up to 280 lightning strikes per hour. My goodness. Now, this might sound redundant. In the skies over the lake. It can't be below the lake, but we just say that. That's an English expression. In the skies overhead, we saw beautiful clouds or something like that. A lightning storm, not really different from a thunderstorm, but we usually use the term thunderstorm. You can hear the sound after the lightning appears. You're more likely to hear things during that storm than you are to see things. And so because it seems there's more thunder than lightning, actually they're the same. If you have one streak of lightning, then you will have one clap of thunder. So we tend to say thunderstorm. If you're in your house, for example, you will hear the thunder, but you might not see the lightning. Now look at these statistics. 150 nights per year, that's almost every other night, there is a lightning storm. Up to 10 hours per day, that means a storm, you don't wait for it to pass. It's going to take up a large part of the day. And up to usually means not more than, or as many as, 280 lightning strikes per hour. Wow, that would be 4 every minute or something like that.
没有错，所以这边的话，你看到很多的数据，对不对？好，在这边你看到从前面他讲说 in the skies over the lake， 在这边的话，有人可能会问说 skies 为什么要用复数呢？其实我后来去问了外国朋友，他说 it sounds more poetic， 听起来比较诗情画意一点点。好，就像天空我们会讲什么苍穹啊那种字一样哈，听起来就觉得哎诗情画意很多哈。在这个湖面上的高空呢 ，a lightning storm， 老师刚刚提到说 lightning storm 也常常会听到是 thunderstorm 比较多，因为你常常会听得到声音，不见你人会在外面看，但是你听到声音，所以大家会想 thunderstorm， 因为这是 thunder 是你可以听到咚一声的 clap， 好，就是指那个它那个轰隆的声音嘛。他说 appears around 150 nights per year， 那几乎是每隔一天就会有打雷的情况。Sometimes for 8 hours per day， 好，每天的话可能10个小时不停歇，而且呢，他说 with up to 280 lightning strikes per hour， 然后每个小时大概会有280次落雷，最多啦。好，那真的是很恐怖的一个数字。
Okay, our next sentence begins with a blank, number 2. Let's look at the words first, or phrases. Because of is A. B is according to. C. Regardless of. Or D. Compared to this, Maracaibo holds the world record for the highest concentration of lightning, as over 250 lightning flashes per square kilometer have been recorded there. Well, that's a lot of information in one sentence, but notice we have something this and then a comma. So we just read about how much lightning there is, how many nights and how many hours and how many strikes per hour. So do we want because of this, according to this, regardless of this, or compared to this? Well, I would choose because of this. Maracaibo holds the world record. It's the place in the world that has the highest concentration of lightning. Concentration is lots of stuff or many things in one place or at one time. As is because over 250 lightning flashes per square kilometer have been recorded there. Recorded means that the weatherman, they have nothing better to do than to count how many times they see lightning. Of course, they do it by machine. Otherwise, they would be very, very wet.
没错。所以这边的话，我们老师提到说，因为后面他提到 Maracaibo holds the world record for the highest concentration of lightning。在这边的话，你提到说保持世界纪录，也因为这样，所以说在这边的话，我们需要一个原因嘛，所以答案的话选 A because of。整句话意思就是，也因为前面所提到这些现象呢，马拉开波或是马拉卡波这个城市呢，就保持着世界纪录世界纪录保持者。是什么样的 title 呢 ？For the highest concentration of lightning， 就是打雷的这个最密集的闪电。好，这样子的 title。As over 250 lightning flashes per square kilometer have been recorded there。然后在这边的话，他就告诉你实际的数据哦，就是在那个每平方公里里面就有超过250次的这种闪电跟落雷这样子哦，非常非常恐怖。然后这边的话就告诉你实际的数据，他们是用机器去测的。不过刚刚老师开玩笑讲说，他们真的是闲来无事，然后那个 weatherman 就气象主播呢就在外面一直数1次、2次、3次，很有画面，对不对？好。
Okay, during the wet season, many countries have a dry season followed by a wet season every year, and Venezuela does too, or this part of it does. The lightning bolts, remember we said strikes a couple of sentences ago, now we have bolts, can appear every other second for hours on end. That means every 2 seconds there's a lightning strike.
没错，所以最后再告诉你说，在雨季的时候更夸张了，长达好几个小时里头，对不对？The lightning bolts can appear every other second for hours on end。闪电每隔1秒就砰一下。砰一下，哇，感觉上很像是参加那种可能电音趴，有没有？哦，一下就有闪电，一下就有闪电。You can dance to it.
Okay, we finished the first long paragraph, so let's take a short break. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at our second paragraph. We start with this question. So, why does this happen? What a strange thing, and for most people a terrible thing, to have storms with almost constant lightning for hours and every other day. Why does this happen? How can this happen? Experts are puzzled. That means the weather people, the guys and gals who study the weather, they're puzzled. They feel confused by this. They're not quite sure why this happens. And at one time, this refers to in the past, thought that high levels of methane or uranium caused the storms. They were trying to explain how this happens. Methane is a gas. Uranium is a metal, and they thought maybe they attract or create lightning, but that didn't prove to be true. They were wrong.
没错，所以在接下来的话，我们第二段里面提到说，所以这样的现象是怎么回事呢？背后的原因是什么呢？ So why does this happen? 为什么会这样？ Experts 就是指的 weather people， 这些气象专家呢 are puzzled or confused. And at one time, 他们曾经一度会认为说 the high levels of methane and uranium. Methane 就是甲烷，或 uranium 的话是铀，这两个样东西呢 caused the storms. 以前呢会觉得说，应该是这两样东西造成了这些风暴吧。But that didn't prove to be true. 但是事实上，事后证明说这种说法呢，并不是成立的，不是真的。
Next sentence, most likely. Now, it wasn't methane or uranium, so they're trying to figure out, all right, so that's wrong. What is right? Well, they thought geography is to, well, here we are with another break, another blank. Number 3, we've got our choices A, bless, B, blend, C, bloom, or D, blame. All our BL 开头的字. Most likely geography is to the ending of the sentence. Well, I would choose blame. When we are trying to figure out the reason for something, often negative, we will use this expression. It's a good one for you to learn. Something is to blame means something is responsible for it. But normally it's used with a negative feeling or meaning.
没错，就是我们中文讲要怪就怪谁的意思。所以这地方的答案我们选的是 D 这个选项，最后一个选项 blame. So geography is to blame. 那最后极有可能事情就是这个原因可能是出在地理环境的因素上头。
Okay, next sentence. The lake is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. So warm, therefore, warm, moist air flows in one direction. This is explaining the geography of Lake Maracaibo. It's surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, and the river we mentioned earlier probably passes through these mountains into the lake.
OK, 所以在这边的话就告诉你了 The lake, 马尔开波湖呢它怎么样呢 is surrounded by mountains on three sides 也就是3面环山所以说呢 so warm, moist air flows in one direction 那这种比较温暖而且潮湿的这种气流呢气团它只能往一个方向去跑
At the same time as this warm, moist air is flowing in one direction, cooler air from the surface flows in the other direction. Cooler air on the surface or from the surface is in the opposite direction or the other direction from that warm, moist air. And when we have warm air with cool air mixing together, we get storms. In the U.S., the most famous of these are tornadoes.
原来是龙卷风啊，对不对？很多时候呢，只要是那种暖空气跟冷空气交界的地方，它们的正负极一旦碰到，唰，闪电啊，那种风暴啦就出现了。原来是因为地理条件的关系，所以造成了这样的一个现象。他说 at the same time 在此同时呢，最后一句他就讲了 cooler air 比较冷的这种地表的 from the surface flows in the other direction 就用反方向的方向流动他们这样子一旦碰触到了就会出现许多的闪电
Okay, let's take a short break now. All right, welcome back for our final paragraph. This is the best blank for what causes a very entertaining lightning storm nearly every night. So our fourth blank will be A, prediction, B, observation, C, explanation, or D, calculation. All shun words. The answer, of course, is going to be explanation because we had a problem trying to explain why these things happen, and now we find different air and lake water and mountain water and so on. They're explaining how this happens, so we should choose the noun explanation.
没错，在第3段这个地方我们一看到说他开始去解释对不对 This is the best explanation 就是解释的意思 For what causes 这个 causes 的话当动词使用指的意思就是导致了所以很多时候他提到是因跟果的关系我们要去解释它的因果关系的时候所以这题答案我们选 C explanation 整句话的意思就是说最棒的解释应该是就是对于这个 For what causes a very entertaining lightning storm nearly every night 好每晚都会出现这种很奇妙的风暴呢最好的解释大概就是如下了
Strangely, in 2010, the storm suddenly stopped, blank, everyone wondering why. So, 11 years ago, these thunderstorms suddenly stopped. Here, suddenly doesn't mean that they started and stopped very quickly. It means unexpectedly. Because for many, many years or decades or centuries, they had these storms, and then suddenly they didn't have them. And here's our final blank. blank everyone wondering why. A, left, B, leaves, C, to leave, or D, leaving? Well, the answer is D, leaving everyone wondering why. And our grammar master will explain this for you.
OK, 在这个地方我们看一下这句话哦 Strangely, 奇怪的事情 in 2010. 好，在2010年的时候 The storm suddenly stopped. 先注意到前面这个 The storm suddenly stopped. 这句子已经结束了，对不对？好，这个 stop 这个动词也出现了。如果说今天你想讲的是这件事情让每个人都会想说，诶，为什么会这样的时候，你可以说 And this 这件事情 left everyone wondering why. 可是呢，我们这边有没有 and？ 没有。所以在这边如果说今天要把这两个东西合并在一起的时候，我们可以使用一个现在分词的分词构句 leaving everyone wondering why. 所以在这里的话，我们是把 and it left 都杀掉 and 杀掉 it， 然后呢 left 变成 VING， 用这种方式去让句子变得更加简化的这种简化后的分词构句。
And the last sentence, but months later,After a few months, just as mysteriously, just as suddenly, just as unexpectedly, the thunderstorms, started back up again. And now we need a new explanation.
没错，所以到后来很奇妙的是，经过数个月之后呢，这个风暴又回来了，然后也是同样的让人觉得很惊讶的，让人觉得说，哇，好神奇，为什么它又出现了？我们又需要去解释为什么了。
Okay, that's it. I want to remind you, if you are caught outside in a thunderstorm, do not stand next to a tree. You may keep the rain off you, but you won't keep the lightning away from you.
没错，千万不要站在树底下，因为树算是最好的那个雷针哦，就是要打的话就打，然后你站在下面的话，你就不小心会分到一点雷电，所以要小心的话，尽量躲在一些隐蔽的地方，而不要躲在树的旁边，也许不会被雨淋到，但是逃不过闪电的攻击。
Okay, that's it for today's program. Hope you enjoyed it. Join us anytime. Till the next time,
bye bye.